What up, ho? I want to be extroverted and speak up, but I am terrible at forming stories and articulating my thoughts and jokes in a one-on-one conversation. Do you have any insight on improving upon speaking skills? So we kind of have two questions here. We have I want to be extroverted, and we also have how to improve speaking skills, how to improve your ability to polarize, your ability to tell stories. Now, of course, these things all will be solved with the one answer practice. But there's also many tips that could help you, figure shit out faster. Alright, let's talk about the first part, which is easier to address. I want to be extroverted. This brings up the common topic. People always say they are introverts, but are you really introverted? Or are you just socially anxious? It's a big difference. I find that many people want to be extroverted. They want to get to know people. They want to build genuine relationships. But they settle with, oh, I'm an introvert, so, life as an introvert is tough. No, it's not. It's not a preference. It's an intrinsic biological brain pattern way of living. It's not a choice or a preference. If somebody wants to be extroverted, they are very likely not introvert. Of course, there's blends between the two, but you get what I'm saying. So, want to be extroverted? I got you, fam. First of all, is to be honest with your desire. If you want to be extroverted, that means any excuse you come up with to not talk to that person has to be questioned. If you want to be extroverted and you're clearly more voluntarily shut off, then you definitely have some level of social anxiety. We can agree on that. I'll challenge this social anxiety. Deliberately push your comfort zone is the first one. You build resilience by willingly walking into discomfort. If discomfort is pushed onto you unwillingly, you're just gonna get more anxious and more paranoid. If you willingly walk in there, like, how much can you handle? Jordan Peterson always says, lift up the heaviest thing you can carry. But he's referring to responsibility. I'm referring to social confrontations. How far can you go? Can you start a conversation? Can you walk up to a random person on the street and ask for directions? Can you do that? If you can do that, can you make a friend at the gym? For example, walking up to someone in the gym. Hey, I see you often. What's your name, by the way? And then you shake their hand, exchange name. You ask about what stage of their life they're at, and then you build a conversation for that. Can you do that? And if you can't do that, completely fine. I remember the first 3 or 4 months I was in a gym. I did not dare to share equipment with anybody. I started self-improvement and I thought, this has to happen. This is a discomfort that I need to explore. So I can feel the fear right now just thinking about it. I was genuinely petrified of social confrontation. It's quite embarrassing to say, but my first time ever, I think it was incline bench, alright? I wanted to use it, but there's somebody on there. I've seen plenty of people ask to share machines and plenty of people have asked me to share machines. So, kind of vibratingly walk into the freaking confrontation. Just mess it up. Do it terribly. Nobody really cares. They really don't care. Do it terribly. As terribly as you can. Don't try to optimize anything. Just take a deep breath and then walk into the mission. Get the mission done. Even though you do it terribly. Get it done, right? Your life depends on this. You know why? Because you fear never becoming the person you want to be. So let that fear push you into doing the things you're afraid of doing. And you do this for improving your resilience in social situations. Keep picking up the next heaviest thing you can carry. And then once you can carry that thing comfortably, onto the next, whatever you're afraid of. And that's how you become more extroverted. You challenge your fears. I would suggest you to meditate and remain mindful, but I doubt anyone who hears that actually does it. Dude, you gotta make some sacrifices, man, alright? It's 10 minutes a day. Come on, meditation will absolutely change your social confrontation skills because you're able to catch your anxiety. You're able to kind of focus your attention from the anxiety into the present moment. You kind of ignore it, and that's badass as hell. And there's many other benefits that I can't get started on because you click off the video because you're an asshole. Now, storytelling, articulation, and jokes. If you're still very socially anxious, this isn't really going to help you that much. You're just preparing for things you're not even ready to do. But these are the next step to take after you have gotten over the base social anxiety, and then now you can kind of go after what you want. You want to talk to that person, you're going to talk to that person. You want to perform on stage or something, you're going to perform on stage. Now, I'm not a great storyteller or am I perfect at articulating my thoughts, but I can say with certainty, I'm 300 times better than I was a year and a half ago. And to me, that is phenomenal progress. I'm appalled at how much progress I've made, actually. That's kind of badass now that I think about it. I'm kind of badass. Sheesh. Articulating your thoughts. The best way. Journaling. 112%. Of course, it's by my own experience, but journaling has absolutely changed my life in how I express my thoughts, in how I speak, in how I communicate my opinions. It's phenomenal, and it's absolutely addictive how much better you get after you journal. Everything flows because you've likely thought about every line of speech you are going to say. It's really the most overpowered practice. Of course, the most overpowered practice is to keep speaking. I record videos. That's great practice. But of course, the best way is to sit with your friends who would actually listen, and then you share about something. When you tell stories and articulate your thoughts, it is very important to, slow your speech. Many times people are too afraid of being interrupted, so they speed up, or they want to complete the thought before it gets awkward, and they're afraid of the empty silences, so they try to fill those up. You start spewing nonsense just to remove the silence. So these things we have to catch. If we're not breathing well, if we are rushing to fill up the silence gaps in conversation, if we are afraid of being interrupted, these things will affect your speech and it'll make you stumble. It will make you say a bunch of things that sometimes you don't fully mean. You're just trying to sound smart. And how you can improve these things is to keep them in mind and just apply whatever you can that's spontaneously in your mind when you're in conversation. Just keep keeping them in your mind. Remind yourself of it. When you're in conversation, it will come up. It will pop up, and then you focus on making that adjustment. Take your time, slow your speech. And I think after you follow all these steps in communication, I think that gives you a very, very solid foundation. Journal, meditate, practice, chase discomfort, face fears, slow your speech, don't be afraid of interruption, don't be afraid of filling up gaps in awkward conversation. It's only awkward if you think it is. Alright, slow it down. Appreciate the moment. Appreciate the person in front of you. Be authentic with your thoughts. When you let your inhibitions and fears go, connecting with people is a beautiful, beautiful experience. Let go of your overthinking. And that's not an easy thing to say, but meditation and journaling would absolutely eat alive your overthinking and your anxiety. So give that a shot and keep in mind the things you want to fix in your communications. You don't have to keep repeating in your head, but every day you want to kind of recall that you want to make those adjustments, and then when you're back into conversation, it will pop up in your head. Oh, I have to make this adjustment made, bam. And then after this, you get better and better and better the more experience you get, and tada, you're a decent speaker. It's so exciting to talk about it, because back then I was terrified, and I thought my whole life that I was an introvert. Now I always wanted to speak. I always wanted to make connections. I think everybody does, but I always voluntarily chose to be closed off more because I believed that made me happier. It didn't make me happier. It's because the comfort of not having to face any awkwardness or any sort of friction or resistance. Of course, we would biologically choose the comfort, but I like to argue different. We should actively go and walk into these uncomfortable situations for the fulfillment, for the accomplishment. Be honest with yourself. Connecting with people is such a beautiful thing, and wanting to change is the biggest step you can take, and not lying to yourself. If you want to be featured in a video, it's very, very easy. Look how little subs I have. Just send me a message on Instagram or leave a comment that starts with dear non-ref or something that catches the attention, something that shows me it's a deliberate question. I have so little subs, man. You will be featured in your own very video. So send me messages, man. I get erection every time I get one. I'm kidding. Feel free to leave a comment. Your experiences could very much click with people much better than my words can, because all people are unique, right? So we can probably click with some different experiences than we can click with others. Feel free to leave your comments. I'll read all of them because I'm a loser like that. But yeah, my brothers, we're all gonna make it. Go face your fears. Go become the person you want to be. So better work.